Today, the nomination of Judge Sonia Sotomayor to the Supreme Court was approved by the Senate Judiciary Committee, thanks to every Democratic vote on the committee and just one Republican vote, that of Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. The rest of the committee's Republicans hit the same hot button over and over and over again today, explaining why they voted no.
I can't vote for her not because she's a Latina woman, and I can't vote for her because she has said all those things. I can't vote for her because she wouldn't defend what she said and stand up and say, I really believe this, but I can still be a great judge anyway.
Judges must self-consciously and deliberately set aside personal views, sympathies, and prejudices.
She said that a wise, quote, a wise Latina would more often than not reach a better conclusion than a white male.
And that ethnicity and gender can and even should have an impact on a judge's decision-making.
It is her belief that, quote, a wise Latina woman with the richness of her experiences would more often than not reach a better conclusion than a white male, close quote.
In other words, we're not racist. She is. It's not that we don't like her because she's Latina. It's that she doesn't like us because we're white guys. Today, as Republican senators explained their votes against the nation's first Hispanic Supreme Court nominee on the basis of the need to protect the interests of white Americans from her, the nation's largest Hispanic advocacy and civil rights organization was holding its annual conference in Chicago. The chairman of the Democratic Party, Virginia Governor Tim Kaine, delivered a speech at the conference today, including a section that he delivered in Spanish.
Uno de cada tres Latinos que no son retirados no tienen seguro de salud.
The group also heard from senior White House advisor Valerie Jarrett. Now, the National Council of La Raza says that they did not invite just Democrats to address the conference. They said they also extended invitations to Republican Party Chairman Michael Steele, as well as to Republican governors Haley Barbour of Mississippi, Tim Pawlenty of Minnesota, and Luis Fortuno of Puerto Rico. All of them were invited to speak. Steele and all three Republican governors declined the invitation and did so through the Republican National Committee. In other words, they didn't individually turn down their own invites. The Republican Party turned down all of them. In response to the official collective snub, La Raza spokesperson Marie Watteau told Greg Sargent of the Plum Line, quote, the Latino community is open to hearing from both sides, which is why both parties were invited. The Republican Party not being here may demonstrate a lack of commitment to our community. In the era of Richard Nixon, the Republican Party chose the Southern strategy, led as much by MSNBC's own Patrick J. Buchanan as by anyone else. The idea was to maximize the party's standing among white voters by stoking the idea that white people needed to stand together against minorities, to exploit fear of and resentment of minorities among white people in order to maximize the Republican Party's share of the white vote, and to assume along the way that the Republican Party would never really compete for non-white votes. Now, as the Republican Party is the smallest it's been in a generation, in the era of the first black president and the first Hispanic Supreme Court justice, is it possible that we're looking at Southern Strategy Part 2?